Yeah. All right.
Movie star chair.
I showed my wife the picture of the guy being she was like,
What? Oh, because I did send it out at the end?
did you threaten that?
All right.
We're live.
We are live. Yesterday we were discussing Machlokes Rabbanon and Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon, whether you have to cut the two simanim in Chatas Ha'if completely or just roiv. And the Gemara says it's really the Machlokes is based on the psukim, how you learn the psukim. There's three words in the psukim that we need to figure out, and based on that we can figure out if you have to cut the simanim completely or you're not allowed to cut them completely. Not just roiv, you're not allowed to cut them according to Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon. They have to be hanging on by a thread. So what do we have? We had like this. We had the word by oilas ha'oif. We had the word kamishpot. It's on your WhatsApp if you want to look over there. Kamishpot. So Rabbanan say we learn from kamishpot. The oilas ha'oif is like what? Like chatas behema, which is 4 psukim earlier. And what do we learn from that? That you cannot buy a behema, the chatas, with, or the oila with meiser sheni money. Okay. Vikrivu, what did they do with the word vikrivu? Vikrivu, that you only shecht 2 simanim, just the oila, because the chatas, all you need is 1 siman. Oila, you need 2 simanim. Umalak vehikter, what do you do with malak vehikter? That you have to sever off the head. So here we have the Shita Rabbanan that you have to cut the head off completely. Rebbe Elazar, who's Mechuluk Rabbanan, he holds that Malak V'Hikter doesn't tell us you have to sever the head. You learn something else out of it. As we're going to see, that it has to be above a certain place, above the Chut HaSikra, that's where the Malika takes place. And the V'Krivu says that you have to do 2 simanim, because Rebbe Elazar holds that the head has to be attached. And Memele, you don't have Havdalah. You're not allowed to cut it completely. So that's the machlokes. Now, the Gemara we're holding today in Daf Chof Beis Amud Aleph on the top.
Rebbe Elazar holds that by all oifas, not just oilas oif, also chatas oif, beis simanim. It's not just by oila.
Oilas oif 2 simanim.
According to Rebbe Elazar, it's maybe.
Right. Oh no. Time out. No. Only oilas 2 simanim. Only oif. Everybody holds only oif is 2 simanim. Chatas. The question is whether or not when you sever the head, you sever completely or not. But only oila is 2 simanim. Chatas is 1 siman.
They're not arguing. They're not arguing at all.
No. There's no machlokes there. Now the Gemara asks, based on this, V'Yikriva says that you sever 2 simanim. And Umalak V'Hikter says you sever the head off. So the Gemara asks right now, then why do you need V'Krivai? If Umalak V'Hikter tells me that you take the head off, how do you take a head off without severing both simanim? You need 2 simanim. V'Tana Kama, we're holding 6 lines down. Daf Chav Beis Amud Aleph. V'Tana Kama, v'chima achar denafkelon me Umalak V'Hikter V'Krivai lamali. Since I know from Umalak V'Hikter that you have to take off the entire head, V'Krivai, that you have to sever the 2 simanim, why is it necessary? Says the Gemara, Ilav V'Krivai Abamino Kamishpot Chatos Ha'oif. My Kamishpot, thank you, missed the word there. Abamino, my Kamishpot Chatos Ha'oif. Now, again, Rabbanan learned from the word Kamishpot that, what does Kamishpot mean? The oilas ha'oif is like the halachas that we learned before. What did we learn before? 1 pasuk before we learned chatas ha'oif. 4 pasukim before we learned chatas behema. So Rabbanan say the kamishpa goes that the oilas ha'oif is like the chatas behema. Says the Gemara, I need v'krivoi to tell us that kamishpa goes on chatas behema and not chatas ha'oif. I would think that kamishpa is like Rebbe Elazar that it goes on chatas ha'oif. Why? V'imishum umalak v'hiktir. It says mefurish in the pasuk umalak v'hiktir. That what? It's mashma that you separate the head. And chatas ha'oif, if you're going to learn out like chatas ha'oif, meaning that you don't do havdalah, But it says afterwards Umalak Victor that you do separate the head. So I'll say no. I learned something else completely from Umalak Victor. I don't learn that you separate the head from those words. Hava amina ma aktora beroisha shel mizbeach. Milika beroisha shel mizbeach. Aktara, where do you put the bird when you're finished? You put it up here. So I think that the Malika has to take place by the Chatas Ha'oif above this red line. We know Chatas Ha'oif, you do Malika below the red line. I think you have to go above the red line.
Are you standing in the same place by both?
No. You know, I mean, to do Aktara has to be on top of the Mizbeach, by the fire. Over here it's just on the upper part of the Mizbeach, meaning above the red line.
Where are you standing when you do it?
You could stand on this thing, on the Soivev, right here.
Reach down one arm. Reach down.
You could reach down if you want to. Yeah, your feet, you're not. Hasha the kosa v'ikrivoy. But now that the Torah says v'ikrivoy, so now I know v'ikrivoy namiha. First of all, I'm going to darshan what we just discussed, that the Malika takes place above the red line. And the other thing that we're going to discuss is that you sever the head. Says the Gemara, Chatas behima de'ina bo elu min achulim min olam. So in Rabbanon Rabbanon say that we learn from the word kamishpat that a oilas ha'oif, a bird oila, is like a chatos animal. And what does that tell us? 3 halachas. First of all, you cannot buy a chatos animal from Chulin, from Ma'aser Sheni, meaning it has to be Chulin. What does Ma'aser Sheni mean? Again, in the Shemitah years, 1, 2, 4, and 5, if you have fruit, you have to bring 10% of them to Yerushalayim. Now, if you own a lot of trees, a lot of fruit, you can't schlep all that fruit to Yerushalayim, so you redeem it wherever you live, you sell it, and the money that you make out of the sale turns into Ma'aser Sheni money. That money you bring to Yerushalayim, and you buy any food you want, and you eat that food in Yerushalayim. But it's easy for you to carry it to Yerushalayim. That money has some kedusha to it. Says the Gemara, you cannot take that money and buy. I have a way to get out of it. I have $1,000. Instead of me buying $1,000 worth of apples, it'll take me years to finish. I'll buy one animal. It costs 10,000 shekel a cow, right? So I buy 10,000 shekel cow, and I bring it as my chatos. You can't do that. It has to be from Chulin money, not from Ma'aser Sheni money. The other 2 halachas that the Gemara says you learn from this kamishpat is that you have to shech during the day, and you have to shech with your right hand. So the Gemara is going to go through these 3 halachas. The first halacha, the ina bo'el min achulim min nolan, and so we make a comparison that oilas ha'oif is like a chatas behema, that just like a chatas behema you can't buy from Ma'aser Sheni money, so also oilas ha'oif you can't buy from Ma'aser Sheni money. But where do we know that a chatas behema you can't buy from Ma'aser Sheni money? Omer Rav Chizdam Makrov v'hikriv aroin es para chatos asher loy. It has to be his. So Rashi brings this down, but I made a chart just the cover.
The Ola. So like, if
What?
Sheni money you use it for Ola, it's supposed to be for food. It's not supposed to be for
Right,
Ola.
but it's still Kaddish. You're buying Kaddish with Kaddish. I would think that it's okay. I'm buying something for the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash enjoys it. Where it might make more sense. Half of it goes to the Kohanim, to the Mizbeach, and I get a little part of it, whereas the fruit, 100% for me, so maybe it's even better. Kamashmal, you can't. The point is that Rashi points, and that's why I made this chart, Asher Loi. Without this, or without Rashi, you wouldn't realize, maybe, that the Pasuk says Asher Loi twice. The Gemara doesn't say it. The Gemara says, it says Asher Loi and I darshan. But the point is that it says it twice. And from the second one I learned, from the second time that it says Asher Loi, I learned that it has to be his own money and not from the tzibur. That's one, V'loi Mishal Meiser. And the second one is that I cannot use Meiser money for the Kohen's carbon or any carbon. The other halacha we learned out is that you can't shecht at night, you have to shecht at day. Bayoim, mibayoim tzavois and afko, asked the Gemara. Why are you learning out that you can't shecht or Eli Stefansky from the word kamishpat. It says in the pasuk, "B'yom tzavoisai," in the day that it was commanded. Says the Gemara, "Kedinazba." You're right. You really learn it out from b'yom tzavoisai, and the Gemara just stuck it in as a stop for no reason. The real limud that we have from the word kamishpat is chulin. That has to be chulin. Yom is not important. Taisus just points out here an interesting question, because on Amid Beis of Chafal of Amid Beis, Rashi brings that this whole pasuk that we said, Zois HaTorah, Chatos and Ashim, that you learn all the karbonos one from another. Rashi over there says that it only applies to animals and not to birds. All of a sudden over here the Gemara says B'yom Tzavaisa, which is in the pasuk right after, in the same psukim, that I even learn a bird. It's a good kasha, and there's a lot of talk about it. Says the Gemara, Yodei Hayimanis. The third halacha is Yodei Hayimanis, that when you shecht, you have to use your right hand. With the Rabbi Bar Chana Nafka. The Omer Rabbi Bar Chana, we had this a few times in Zvachim and Menachas. Omer Reb Shimon ben Lakish, Kol Makim Shenemar Etzba, Oy Kuhuna, Eino Eliyimin. If the Torah mentions the word Koyen or the word Etzba, it immediately means, it tells us halacha that has to be with the right hand. So again, the same question. If I know from Rabbi Bar Chana that you need to use your right hand, so I don't need to learn it out from the pasuk kamishpat.
You know, etzba means right hand.
That's a halacha that we learn. Anytime it says etzba, it means right, and anytime it says koyin, it means with the right hand. The avodah has to be performed with the right hand. Says the Gemara, well, there's a machlokes. V'idoch kuhuna baya etzba loy baya kuhuna. There's a question over there in the Gemara. The Chacham say if it just says the word etzba, it means right. And if it just says the word koyin, it means the right hand. But Reb Shimon is machlok, and he says it has to say, if it says etzba, or it also has to say, if it says koyin, it has to say etzba. Etzba is special, and then we ask them, why do you need koyin at all? Fine. But if it says koyin, it needs etzba. Now by us in our parsha it says v'krivay hakoyin, but it doesn't say etzba. So I would think that v'krivay, according to one man, since it just says koyin, it means with the right hand. But we're going to hold that it needs the word etzba, and since it doesn't say etzba, it doesn't mean right. So therefore, I need the word kamishpat to teach us that the hakrava is done, the shechita is done with the right hand. Now, if we go back to the chart for a second, Rabbi Shmuel learns from the word kamishpat. He says halachas of what? Of chatasoif, all the way in the bottom. And what do you learn from that? Mul oiref, that the place of the malika is, this is the face, this is the oiref. Mul oiref means lower down than the oiref, across from the oiref. Okay, so that's Rabbi Shmuel. But Rabban and Rabbi Lazar don't learn the kamishpat to say mul oiref. So how do they know the makam melicha is mul oiref? V'tana kamo v'Rabbi Lazar v'Rabbi Shimon mul oiref min alu gamri melika mimelika. They learn out from chatas oif, says Rashi, a simple mematzinu or tzadashava. It's not the strongest limit in the world. It just means we find that melika by chatas oif is done mula oiref. So we take all the halachas from chatas oif. It's not like, wow, a major hekesh. How do you do melika? Look over there. You'll find all the halachas by chatas oif. You do it at this place of the neck. You try not to hit the basar. All these things. You learn mematzinu. Derech Hagav, yesterday, two things. I mean, it's the same thing, but you were asking that how do you get to if you go through one pipe and you do, what was your question again? How do you have roiv? How do you do roiv if one is on top of the other? And they said from the side. The side. So that's only b'melika. This whole halacha was talking about melika. And melika is no good from the side. But if this is the pipe and you move your finger over, you don't go through the center, you go over here, so you don't sever the whole pipe. You were asking, if you're going through this pipe, then you hit the whole pipe, then you cut this pipe first, and then once you get to the other pipe, it's already cut. So I'm just saying, you just move it over a little bit, and then you go through. So you leave. You were thinking that the part that's left over is from the back. I'm saying it's from the side. The side is left over. You go like this, so you leave this part.
Side.
If one is on top of the other, you're going there's two pipes. Oh, yeah, this is not going to work. But anyways, if you're doing Malika this way and you want to do 3/4, so you just move your thumb over and you go 3/4 this way through and through, and you leave this part over. This is the 1/4 that'll be left over.
This thumb must be very thin, or this bird must be very fat, because the sizes involved are
I think they were both bigger than what we think.
bigger.
Yeah, because the Kayana were huge.
Yeah, but the
That we
birds-
learned that they were very
the birds
big.
weren't huge.
Maybe they were. The fruit was huge. Everything was huge.
We learned before that he was able to hold the bird with one hand, the wings, everything,
Yeah.
literally, and use the spine.
It was all relative, though.
So
It was all relative to their size. I don't know.
the only huge because they ate
They were strong and huge and tall.
because they ate all that meat.
All right, Zok the Mishnah. On Daf Mishnah that ended off saying that whatever is kosher b'melika is possible by shchita, whatever is possible by shchita is kosher b'melika, vice versa. Each one, kosher b'shchita is possible b'melika, kosher b'melika is possible b'shchita. So now we're going to have all the way until the end of to the parak, which is Daf Chav Zayin, I believe. Mishnayos that just bring random halachas, but have this kind of kosher b'zeh, possible b'zeh. Good like this, bad like that. So the first Mishnah is kosher b'toirin, pasul b'bnei yoina. There are two birds mentioned in the Torah that you could bring as a carbon. You have the toir and b'nei yoina. Toir is a turtle dove. I just as a throwback to Zvachim. This is how it went in Zvachim, guys. This is before the printer.
Wow, look at the shipur.
I don't know if it's a shipur. You remember this sugya of kinim?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Anyways, in case you haven't noticed, we have in Bet Shemesh pigeons and we have turtle doves. These are nicer than what they are here, but turtle doves are those brown things, I believe. Now, my great research, what?
They have different noise.
Yeah. And they're a little edler, I think, these guys.
That's the noise.
Thank you. He set him up.
If Ellie were an animal.
Kosher b'toirim, pasul b'bnei yoina. Now, the toir, the turtle dove, you can only bring when it's an adult. The b'nei yoina, the children of a yoina, can only come when they're, what do you call them? I don't know.
Teenagers.
Under a year.
You wish you could check those teenagers. How do you say in a yoina? How do you say? Not adolescents, children, baby, whatever the word is. Chicks, okay, fine. In other words, if you bring an adult pigeon, you're not yaitza. If you bring children, toirim, you're not yaitza. What?
Frankincense.
Frankincense. Cartilage. Oh. Fine. Kosher b'toirim possible b'nei yoina. Kosher b'nei yoina possible b'toirim. Again, these Mishnayos are just a continuation. The reason why they're here is because the last mission that we had said that kosher b'shchita possible b'melika, kosher b'melika possible b'shchita. So we're saying kosher b'toirim possible b'nei yoina, kosher b'nei yoina possible b'toirim, and this Gemara is going to go into it. Tchilas hatziyuv b'zeh or b'zeh possible. Says the Mishnah that when these birds, either the turtle dove or the pigeon, change from their being a chick to being an adult, there's a change on the color of their neck. Their neck changes, turns yellow. So when it's yellow, both of them are possible because they're not chicks anymore and they're not adults. They're that in between stage, and in between is possible by both.
How long does that last? That stage?
16 days. I have no idea. Now,
They have to bring two feathers.
The feathers change color?
yes, the feathers change color. I did a lot of research. I couldn't really come up with any turtle doves that have yellow. This is the best I could come up with. This guy, if you look at the WhatsApp and the picture I sent, it's really yellow. This is the closer I got to on the neck having yellow.
Those are all turtle doves?
They're all turtle, and there's literally 30 types. You wouldn't believe how many types of turtle. that they're beautiful colors, white.
Come to Beit Shemesh.
None of these are in Beit Shemesh.
So that one upper is possible, you're saying, because it has a little yellow on it? The one on the head?
But this one, the one on the head, I don't know. I'm saying I don't know what the halach is with these. This really has yellow throughout its whole.
All the nice ones.
This one we're going to see in Rashi. Rashi brings this guy. I mean, it doesn't really talk about him. I'm just exaggerating, but Rashi says it turns nice red gold. Anyway, but if it has a little yellow, then it's no good. Tana Rabbanon. Toirim g'dolim kisherim k'tanim psulim. That's what we said. If the turtle dove is an adult, it's kosher. If it's a baby, it's possible. B'nei yoino k'tanim ksherim, and the pigeons are reversed. The babies are kosher. G'dolim psulim. I can understand that, by the way, today. I don't want to have anything to do with those big pigeons. Those adult pigeons, big enemy with them. The babies, no. Nimtza kosher, when the base of English comes, imagine bringing one of these pigeons that just ruined my merpeset, just the whole thing. I have to bring that done.
You mean kill it? What's the problem?
It's not a korban, it's a
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a nuisance, like bringing a mouse to the base of English. It's not. You want to get rid of it. Nimtza kosher, they call them, what do they call them? City rats. No? That's what, in America, that's what they call them. Nimtza kosher b'toirim, possible b'nei yoina, kosher b'nei yoina, possible b'toirim. Okay, so that's the Mishnah. Torah Rabbanan, toirim. Gedolim v'loiktanim. From the fact that the Torah says toirim, I understand that means adults and not babies. And the Gemara is going to explain why. Shiyochav aloydinu l'chayra have a kavachomer. Uma b'nei yoina shaloi hukshu b'gedolim hukshu b'ktanim. Pigeons, I can bring the babies, but I can't bring the adults. Toirim shukshu b'gedolim and it didn't shukshu b'ktanim. So bring when they're adults, certainly I can bring the babies. Why? No, B'nai Yoina is the pigeon. B'nai Yoina is the pigeon. Toirim is the turtle dove. Toirim shulch b'g'dolim and it didn't shulch b'ktanim. Tamaloymar Toirim g'dolim v'doiktanim. B'nai Yoina. The Gemara is understanding that just the simple mashmas of the word B'nai Yoina doesn't say Yoina. B'nai Yoina seems like these are the children. So therefore, when it says Toirim, it means the adults. B'nai Yoina means the children, right? The kids of the Yoina. But B'nai. B'nei yoina k'tanim v'loikdolim. Shiach v'alei dinu. U'ma toirim shloi huchshu b'ktanim. The reverse kavachomer. Have a kavachomer. The turtle doves that are not kosher when they're children. Huchshu b'gdolim. B'nei yoina shuchshu b'ktanim. And it didn't shuchshu b'gdolim. Talmud loymar. B'nei yoina k'tanim v'loikdolim. My Talmud, but where do you see this in the pasuk? Where's the hechrach in the pasuk? Says the Gemara, Omar Rava le'lishtem et krov v'lichtov mimei atoyim oim b'nei yoina. Oim b'nei yoina. Says the Gemara sometimes says this concept. Since the Torah brings b'nei yoina, at least 6 times that you bring birds in the Torah. What are the 6 times? You have a nadava, a bird nadava. You have a bird chatas that's a oila v'yard. You can't bring a real behema, so if you're poor, you bring a bird. You have nazir. You have mitzayra. You have Yerledes and you have Zav. So those are 6. Each time that the Torah says it, the Torah says the same exact words. Toirim, B'nei Yoina. Now, if they were interchangeable, so at least one of those 6 times, the Torah should have flipped it. B'nei Toirim and Yoina. But the Torah is always careful to say B'nei Yoina. So the Gemara says that means that these are the children. The small yoinim and the adult turtle doves. Says the Gemara, okay. Ema b'nei yoina the cause of Rachmana b'nei k'tanim in g'dolim lay. Okay, so you prove to me that yoina means the chicks and not the adults. Toirim yiboy g'dolim leisei, yiboy k'tanim leisei. But maybe the word toirim refers to both, even the chicks. Says the Gemara, dumya de b'nei yoina. There's really a hekesh here, sort of. Since they're brought together always, it says Toirim ubnei yoina together. So in meaning, ma bnei yoina k'tanim in. It's like the words bnei yoina to mean k'tanim. So when the Torah says Toirim, it means af Toirim dolim in k'tanim loy. Tana Rabbanan. Yachol yukala Toirim v'chol bnei yoina ksherim. I would think all stages of turtle doves and B'nei yoina ksherim. In other words, even when they start becoming yellow, they have this yellowish neck. Tamaloymar min hatoirim v'loi kol hatoirim. So the word min comes to exclude. Min b'nei yoina v'loi kol b'nei yoina. Prat l'tchilas hatziyuv shebezeh ubezeh shepasol. So if it starts becoming yellow, So it's no longer a bnei yoina. It's not a child. It's not a chick. And if it's a turtle dove that's yellow, then it's not an adult. So memela it's possible as well. Meimosei atorim ksherim. Now when could you bring a turtle dove? When is it considered an adult? Mishiyazivu. So now the Gemara sticks in a new concept called gold. So Rashi over here says Mishiyazivu shekanfe gufan gdoilim va'adumim umahazivim kizov, and they become like gold. I've never seen a turtle dove like that, but the only one I found that's like a little reddish is this guy right over here.
Could it be that these are species that aren't found anymore?
100%. Yeah. I'm just saying there's so many species you cannot believe. This one guy in Louisiana has like 30 species that he sells out of his house. Has pictures of 30 different types.
Why do you say it's not a new concept? The Mishnah said it's Hatzivu. Isn't that the same?
No. Hatzivu is yellow. Hazivu is gold.
You're going to see in a second.
Yeah. The next line.
It is makbid on
So
the
is there a difference between
On the what?
on the species of turtle dove?
I don't know.
Is there a difference between the Mishnah and the Brisa?
No, they're saying the same thing. They're just saying one is saying the bottom and one is saying the top. Here, let's see.
Isn't seal and Jesus the same? Just the same.
Let's see inside. Prat l'tchilas hatziyuv. Tziyuv is yellow. Shebezeh is apostle. Meimosei atorim ksherim. And when does it become an adult? Mishiyazivu. When it becomes yellow, then it's possible, the Mishnah says. But when it becomes gold, then it's kosher. So gold and yellow cannot be the same thing. Meimosei b'nei yoina psulim. And when do the chicks of a yoina become almost an adult? They switch. Mishiyatzivu, once they become yellow. So yellow is this in-between stage. And to make a turtle dove completely adult, it becomes gold. Tani Yaakov Karcha.
Why
What?
did it say Daf Yomi? It's by both. Karen and Yoina is Mishiyazivu. Right?
No, Bnei Yoina cannot be an adult. Bnei Yoina has to be a child.
I know, but the halacha is by both of them Mishiyazivu.
Mishiyatzivu is bad, because that's the in-between stage. It's not an adult and it's not a child, it's in between.
Bryce is saying the term Ksherim Mishiyazivu, maybe Bnei Yoina Psulim Mishiyazivu. It's not just Bnei Yoina, it's Bnei Yoina Uterim.
Yeah, but because that's when it becomes puzzle. A yoina started kosher and then it never started. A tar is always puzzle. When does it become kosher? When it becomes gold. A yoina is kosher. When does it become puzzle? When it turns yellow. Tani Yaakov Karcha Meimosei b'nei yoina ksherim mishiya'alu. An interesting word. Hutani lavu amalo. He has to explain his word. It says in Eoiv Efreichav Ya'alu Dam. So the word Ya'alu has to do something with blood. When is that? So Rashi explains. When is a pigeon, a chick, kosher to bring them mizbeach? Says Rashi, when it's a day old, it's disgusting. It's mos. You don't bring a little ugly chickling. It has to have some sort of life to it. So when is that point? How many days? What is it? So he says, Mishiyalu, when you pluck one of its feathers and blood comes out. In other words, when it's filled with blood. Otherwise, it's like this little fetched thing just came out of an egg. You're not going to bring that to the mizbeach. It's not something you bring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But when it has, these are the mumchim in feathers. No?
There are films about live plucking of geese.
And blood comes out?
Now, if they're plucked too early,
Too early.
yeah. Once
But we're saying late. This is a later stage. There's a stage that nothing comes out.
because they're
It's so young, it doesn't even have blood in there.
Molting season. There's certain times of the year where they come off easily.
No, but a
Don't
goose,
be-
the day it's born, if you
Yeah.
pluck its feather, will blood come out of its
When it
feather?
feathers the day it's born.
That's fuzz.
It has little fuzz. But it's saying here that the blood didn't fill yet. It's like, Boy Reb Zera, a beautiful Shiloh. By the way, we're only going to the bottom of this page, even though it's in the middle of the sugya, because tomorrow's daf is very short also. We have to learn every day. So we'll do what we can do. Boy Reb Zera, nobody has a problem with that, right? Boy Reb Zera. There's no day off. It's about the yomi, not about the daf. A guy says, I'm going to bring a oila. Now it's going to be either from turtle doves or from pigeons. I'm not deciding which one. And then he brings he brings the intermediate stage from both. He brings a yellow dove, turtle dove, and a yellow pigeon. So we said, so what's the shaila? Now it's a mamanav shach. If you consider yellow an adult, so it's perfect, and the turtle dove is great. If you consider it benish moshes, or, by the way, we'll see in a second. Or if you consider it a child, a chick, pigeon. So what's the halacha?
Why not just wait, and then one of them will become good?
No, it's the kohen was mikra of it.
Oh, it's done already.
Let's say,
He wants to know if he's...
Do they have to be bought on the same day?
brought at the same time, same color. Sveika havi vinofik. Is this a suffix? And he gets out of it because mimanav shach, one of them is good in the suffix. Maybe this intermediate stage of yellow is a new musug.
Mama's like teenagers.
Where did we have an animal that has a new birya?
The human.
No.
We just saw.
We had an animal that has an in-between stage and it's a new musig. It's a new word that nobody knows, only if you go to Daf Yomi. Oh, who said that? Oh, very good. Palgus. That's 100 points. Palgus, you don't remember Palgus? It's the sheep that's above a year old, but not into the second year yet. So in other words, in its 13th month, it's a Palgus, which the Gemara is going to bring.
Plagus was a Greek horse with tell
Plagus or Palgus?
Pegasus.
That's what I was trying to say.
Right. Omar Rava, I have a raya, says Rava. Toshma, Prat l'tchilas hatziv, he's a bucky and everything, not only in Shas. Toshma, Prat l'tchilas hatziv, shebezev shepasel. We learn from the word minat toirim, the Gemara said before. The pasuk comes to tell us that it comes to exclude this intermediate stage. Prat l'tchilas hatziv, shebezev shepasel. Now, if you say that yellow is a whole new type of bird, Shapir.
That's not good.
It makes a lot of sense because then the Torah came and told us, in this stage, don't bring me a carbon. The Torah doesn't come for sveikas. The Torah never tell you halach and a suffix. If you have a suffix, just be machmer, don't bring it. The Torah doesn't say, if you have a suffix, don't bring it. The Torah is it's black or white by the Torah.
It's more than that. Hashem knows. Rashi says.
Hashem knows, exactly. Hashem knows what it is. He's not. The Torah doesn't say, if you have a suffix, don't bring it. The Torah never says this. That's our suffix in our head, and we are machmer. You're not going to have a special pasuk to tell us what to do in a suffix. That you'll never find in the Torah. The Torah is go like this or go like that. Bring a ben yoina, bring a Torah. Now you don't know if it's a Torah ben yoina, that's your problem, so don't bring it. The Torah doesn't say, Elamai, when the Torah says don't bring this particular animal, it's because it's a third category called not a palgus, but a yogus, whatever it's called. In between the yellow stage. Fine. No, Adkan. By the way, just Taisus asked a question. He touched upon it. One of you guys touched upon it. How do you bring these karbanas to the Beis Hamikdash in a suffix? One of them is for sure not a good carbon. So how could you bring it into the carbon? How do you bring? What?
Chulin Bazar.
It's Chulin Bazar. Taisus asked. Yeah.
No, the other way.
So that's why Taisus says he was over. Or there's a very interesting Taisus here. Taisus says that once you give it to the kohen, then it's his problem. So you could give it to the kohen in the Hazara, then whatever he does with it afterwards, that's his thing. But your Yoitze, your Chiyuv, Rabbi Yashiv explains it that was your neder. No, it's not a suffix. You promised, according to Rabbi Yashiv, you promised a carbon that you're going to bring in the Hazara. You're just going to give it to the hands of the kohen. That was your neder to begin with.